Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Invin. Today I am going to be bringing you guys the best PPSH class for Warzone. Now before this video starts, I will just go ahead and tell you guys that this is not the best or most competitive SMG to use in Warzone, and it does struggle quite a bit in Verdansk because of the long range situations. This is a very close range gun, but it is still a ton of fun to use. Definitely to switch to if you're going to use something like the AMAX or maybe even Kar 98, something along the lines of a very long range weapon. This is your close range option. That will probably work quite well, but it does excel on Rebirth Island, and obviously in Plunder if you wanted to rank it up in there as well, it is good, but overall it is not as competitive as anywhere near anything like the Farah as a SMG build, the Bullfrog, the Cold War MP5, the Mac 10, all of those things, the FFAR. They're all going to be outdoing this gun still at the moment, which is a shame, but the main reason for that is because the TTK is a 9 to 11 shot kill depending on the range, and that's including headshots as well, so it doesn't really make a difference if you're body shot. If you're hitting limbs, it is going to be slightly lower. You're going to bring it down to a 14-15 shot kill, which, as you guys will know from a lot of the other guns in the game, that is pretty high. So it's not going to be the most competitive gun, but it is a ton of fun to use, so I would definitely recommend trying it out on Rebirth Island, where you're actually going to be able to use it better, and just give this gun a go and see what you guys think. This is going to be the best loadout, and some tips on how to use it the best, to utilize it to the best of your ability. It does have a pretty decent RPM, decent fire rate, but it still doesn't have the damage to match that, unfortunately. So things like the Bullfrog, which is a pretty decent fire rate and very high damage, it's always going to win that gunfight, unfortunately. However, a lot of people in the game right now are trying out the PPSH, so now is probably the best time to give it a go, as you are going to be able to compete with other people using it, especially if they don't have this class optimized like I have got for you guys here. So, the best thing that you're going to want to do with this gun is get up close and personal. The setup caters to that, and obviously, like with any Cold War weapon in Warzone, you're going to want to build bullet velocity in order to get that kill time down. So, the build we have got for you guys today is the Grew Suppressor, the Task Force Barrel, the Spetsnaz Grip, the 55 round drum mag, and the Serpent Wrap. Now, one thing I will say about the PPSH is the recoil is pretty high, but that's because the amount of bullets it has, 55 for an SMG, is pretty high. Now, this is where the Bullfrog obviously does overtake it again, because it's got a lot more of a steady recoil with just as many bullets. However, this gun shoots very, very quickly, but you are going to want to make sure that you've got a decent recoil control. If you are struggling, you might want to whack on a slightly different barrel, maybe one of the ranger ones that just gives bullet velocity instead of all the rest of the perks as well. But Task Force is probably the best for range and things like that as well, if you can control your recoil. I'll let you guys decide where you stand with that, because obviously you know how well you can control your own recoil and that sort of thing. So yeah, definitely try this class out. This is the best way to build it at the moment in Cold War, and if you're going to want to be on top of your game once you're using this class, you're going to want to make sure you're in those close range situations. If you are planning to play Verdansk or Rebirth with this gun, and you're wanting to get both long range and close range engagements out of it, I would recommend pairing it with probably the AMAX at the moment, or maybe a sniper if you're into sniping, so the Kar 98, the SPR, the AX50, anything like that, HDR even, just because those guns are going to excel more at the long range. This gun really, anything past 10 to 15 meters isn't that great, to be honest. The recoil is too much to be able to get good kills, and basically the TTK is just going to be exponentially higher, so you're going to want to make sure that you're reining in that kill to be in a close range. Rebirth is really good for this, like I've said multiple times, because basically most of the gunfights are going to be close range. Even the ones that are a little bit further afield are only like max 50 meters, so if you've got an AMAX, you can sort of crack people. If they push in, you've got the PPSH, or you can push people out of buildings with a PPSH very, very well. Hip fire on it is actually really, really nice, although if you can ADS, you probably should. The impact from the 55 round mag is actually pretty minimal to the ADS speed, so it's actually really quite a snappy gun to be able to sprint to fire time and ADS speed to get onto those targets quickly. So that is one nice benefit of this weapon, and obviously, like I said, the fire rate is pretty high. A lot of people won't even see you before the time you've gunned them down with this gun, so it is actually really, really nice. And with the mag size, you are capable of taking out 2, 3, 4 players easily with one mag, providing you hit your shots obviously and you're within the range, because the shots to kill is quite high. But definitely 2 to 3 players per mag, which is really, really nice. Again, I would make sure that you stay in the close quarters as much as possible, complete some contracts. You know, playstyle wants to be quite either rushing into buildings, getting those kills and turfing people out, or playing to your advantage, just sitting back in a close quarters environment, inside a building, inside an area where people have to come close to, and then getting the kills that way, because otherwise it is going to struggle. On the main Verdansk 84 map at the moment, it is not going to do that well, to be honest. Even if you switch up the build, put a sight on, put a long-range barrel on, it still doesn't compete because the recoil is too high and the TTK is far too low to compete with the FFAR, the AMAX, etc. But, as I said at the beginning, this gun is a ton of fun to use. It feels really, really good. A lot of people are giving a go to this weapon right now because it's brand new. It does have that nostalgic PPSH feel to it, so it is worth trying out, especially on Rebirth. That's what I would say. Rebirth, Plunder, give it a go, see what you feel like. Multiplayer is a completely different story. If you have got Cold War multiplayer, this thing shreds in that, so definitely try it out there. I will have a class coming for that later in the day or in the next couple of days, so make sure you subscribe to the channel for that one. But yeah, recommended Rebirth or Plunder for this one. Not main Verdansk, a little bit too... Unless you're going to pair it with a sniper maybe, and then you can use the sniping for long range, and then if people rush you, pull out the PPSH. Again, same as with anything, but you are probably going to sit better with a Farah SMG build or the LC10, something like that under your belt. But give it a go. Let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments below. Obviously, it might be feeling better for certain people and slightly less good for others, but this is definitely the best setup you can use to give yourself the most advantage with this weapon if you are going to try it out, and I would recommend you do. It's decent, and as I said before, because most people are using it because it's brand new right now, it's a good time to get it under your belt and see what you think about it. So let me know in the comments what you think about this build and this weapon. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Check down below to see if you subscribe to the channel already. If you're not, make sure you press that red subscribe button down below. We're posting tons and tons of Season 3 content, and subscribing will help you find your way back here when I do cover all of the content that's coming up in the next few days and weeks, which should be everything to do with Season 3, so it'll keep you guys up to date with all the most relevant and useful information for Warzone, multiplayer, zombies, and everything else related to COD. So make sure you're subscribed. Like the video if you have enjoyed it, as it really does help me out. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Take care, and peace.